All right, guys, we are going to do a video on dividing decimals. So dividing a decimal by a decimal. We have already done a decimal by a whole number, and we just raised up the decimal. So we're going to show you one more. So go ahead and have out a piece of paper and title it Dividing a Decimal by a Decimal. Okay? All right, so I'm going to tell you what you need to be writing down. So let's just look for a second. So if I have this problem right here, can you tell me if I have 30 divided by 5, what my answer would be? Just be 6, right? Okay, so let's keep going. Can you think what that answer would be? That would still be 6. What do you think that answer would be? Still 6 and still 6. So my answer here never changed, but what did change each time? Can you see that what changed each time? So each time it looks like I multiplied both the dividend and the divisor by 10, or I added a 0 to each one of them. If I add, in this one case, a 0 to this one and to this one, it did not change my answer. Over here, I multiplied both of them. From the original, I multiplied by 100. Okay, this is a small pen. And then over here, I multiplied by 100. So if I do that, then it will not change my answer. Okay, that's important for what we're doing. All right, so then let's look at that. So if I divide a decimal by a decimal, all right, I want you to write this down. So pause the video and write this down. All right, so when we're dividing a decimal by a decimal, I actually do not want to divide by a decimal because it would be really weird to like say how many 6/10 are in that. That would be really hard to see. So in order to do that, I'm actually going to multiply the dividend and the divisor by a power of 10. A power of 10 is like 10 or 100 or 1,000, 10,000, so that my divisor is actually a whole number. That's what I want to do. So in this case, I need to move the decimal one place. So that means I'm multiplying by 10. Okay, if I move the decimal one place, I'm multiplying by 10. So however many places I need to move the decimal here, I have to do the same thing here. Okay, so then my new problem just becomes 557.36 divided by 6. So it's just a whole number now. So now I'm just dividing like I had done before. All right, so let's just go ahead and divide. So 6 cannot go into 5. Remember, I'm going to hold that place value because I want to make sure my decimal's in the right place. And then 6 would go into 57 9 times. That's 54. Subtract. Bring down my next number. 6 goes into 33 5 times. Remember, I'm right above that number. That's 30. Bring down my next number, and that is 6. 6 goes into 36 6 times. I end with a 0. Oops. I end with a 0, and I am finished. So I move my decimal straight up. Okay? So the only difference from what we did last week and then what we're doing now is that I am moving that decimal. Okay? I do not want that decimal there. All right? So let's look at this one. So how many places do I need to move this decimal so that it is a whole number? I have to move it 1, 2 places. So if I move this one 2 places, I have to move this one 2 places. Okay. Some of you prefer to put that decimal up there right now, which is fine. No problem. Okay. All right. So now I'm just dividing by 12. So my new problem is 12 goes into. That's my new problem. If you prefer to rewrite it, that's fine. Okay. All right, so 12 cannot go into 6. 12 goes into 64 5 times. That's 60. Subtract. Every time I subtract, bring down the next number. 12 goes into 44 3 times. That's 36. Subtract. That's 8. Okay, so I had to borrow. Bring down my next number. Make sure you're bringing down the right number each time. Okay, so you got to line up. 12 goes into 82 6 times. Now see, I've messed up my numbers. That needs to go on top. That needs to go on top. So my 6 needs to be here, a little skinny. So that's 72. And then 12 goes into 108 9 times. And that's 108. And I am finished. Bring my decimal straight up. Okay? All right. So why don't you pause the video and you do these two problems. Make sure you pause this video. When I say pause the video and do the problems, that's what I mean. I don't mean that you just go ahead and copy down what I have, okay? So pause that video, and I want to see these two problems on your notes page, okay? All right, check your work. Make sure that decimal is in the right place. Remember, the very first step is you got to move that decimal, okay? So 68.7 and then 18.74. Did you notice in this one, you had to bring down the next number, which is a 0. Remember, you're not going to leave remainders down here with decimals. You got to bring down the next number, and in this case, if there is no number shown, the next number is a 0, okay? All right. All right, I think that was the same one, wasn't it? Yes, it was. All right. All right, you've got one more to do here, one more to do on your notes page. So pause the video and come back when you have this answer. Make sure you pause it. All right, did you notice that this one keeps repeating? This keeps repeating. So I can stop. Once I see that this number, I keep having a 40 and a 36 here, so this 6 up here keeps repeating. So I can stop at this point. So I'm going to stop, and I'm going to show that this 6 is repeating by just putting a bar on top of it. This is my repeat sign, okay? So if I start to see a pattern down here and I keep seeing the same number up here or the same set of numbers, I can stop and I can just put a repeat sign on here. So my answer for this one would be 17.86, and then the 6 is repeating, okay? All right. So feel free to use your multiplication chart. If you need to, you can ask for help, but you're going to work on these 9 problems for homework, okay? Whatever you don't finish in class will be homework, so you can turn your paper over on the back. Please do not write them down first. Write them as you go, because with a division problem, you don't know how much room it will take, okay? It might be nice for you to box your problems, like if I would have done like on this one, so my work, maybe I would have boxed this off, kind of like boxed it, okay? Something like that. So you're going to pause. I guess on the front of the page, if you want to write them all down so that you have it, you don't have to keep referring back to it. But look, I'm going to be looking for these problems tomorrow, and make sure your decimal is in the right place. The very first thing you have to do is to move that decimal place, okay? All right, ask for help if you need it, but work hard, and I will look forward to seeing your great work tomorrow. All right, have a great day, kids.